holder of Rigor Mortis. In any city, in any country, go into any hospital you can get into. When you enter, you will see the receptionist behind her desk. Do not approach her. Simply stand where you are. Then, immediately fake your best seizure or any other serious medical condition you can do. The receptionist will see this, gasp, and then call for help. Several doctors will then put you on a stretcher and wheel you through many doors down a seemingly never-ending hallway. The lights will flash on and off, and you will catch a quick glimpse of the doctors in their deceased forms. After what seems like an hour, you will become weary and lose all feeling and awareness of your limbs. You will be wheeled into a room and left there. It will look like a normal operating room, with an operating table containing a scalpel, needles, syringes, and other medical paraphernalia. From there, fall asleep lying on your back and your head facing the roof. When you wake up, you will find a Siamese twin doctor conjoined at the hip, standing beside your bed. You may try to sit up, but you will find that you are as stiff as a rock, and your body from the neck down has been numbed. The right head will simply say, "All right, he's awake," and begin to operate. The doctor closest to your bed will tear open your shirt and request items from the far doctor. He will hand him a scalpel and begin to cut a long line from the top of your chest to the beginning of your belly button. It's best you don't look, for you may pass out or simply go insane. You will feel no pain, but the knowledge of being cut open is enough of a burden. For an hour, they will be operating on you, as the right doctor dissects you and the left doctor hands tools. At the very end, he will stitch you up and then leave covered in blood and other bodily fluids. To return to the real world, simply fall asleep again. When you wake up, you will feel a discomfort in your lower abdomen. If you look down, you will find a scalpel slightly piercing your stomach, making a vertical slanted flap of bloodied skin. Take the scalpel and bandage up your stomach using the bandage wrapped beside you. After this, make your way to the front of the desk, keeping the scalpel with you. When the receptionist asks if she can help you, stab her in the forehead with the scalpel. She will scream loudly in agony and collapse to the ground. Trudge around to the back of the desk and lean down to her body. Hold the scalpel to her neck and ask loudly and angrily, "Why were they dying?" She will cough and sputter blood, then tell you a story of a mass killing. Everyone in the story that died painfully and without mercy. Many limbs were amputated from these people and were killed for the sheer joy of killing. The story will make you shudder in fear and want to leave this wretched place. After she has finished the story, her eyes will turn black and she will spit blood at your face. Jam the scalpel into her forehead again. As quickly as you did this, leave the hospital. They will hurt you and they will kill you. The scalpel is Object 109 of 538. As the second scalpel, you can now wield one in each hand as weapons to fight for your life. You'll know when it's time. The holder of the voice. In any city, in any country, go to any mental institution or halfway house you can get yourself to. When you reach the front desk, ask to view something known as the holder of the voice. The worker may try to hide a brief look of panic, but will eventually compose himself. He will throw you a small, black, unmarked plastic bag and walk away irrationally. You do not have to follow him, but something will bid you to trace his footsteps. You will pass through a dimly lit hallway with panoramic windows for walls. Regardless of the time of day, the outdoors will appear to be dark. Should you look out the windows, you will see only an endless stretch of woods. If you think you see motion in the woods, do not turn away. Keep walking up towards the end of the hall. There will be no door, only a blank wall with peeling wallpaper. The worker will tear the wallpaper off just a bit, then flee into the shadows. When you inevitably finish tearing the wallpaper, a small, dusty attic room will appear. In the center sit two objects, a small doll and a tape recorder. Both are ancient and coated in dust. If you examine the doll, you will see a small metal crank on it. Wind the crank, and the doll will emit a sound somewhat akin to fingernails scratching against wood. Press play on the tape recorder. It will play even if there are no batteries. There will be the muffled sound of a female voice in distress. You will not be able to make out the words. It will go on and on until you press stop. The final decision facing you will be whether or not you should play the two sounds together. The bag given to you will contain two rusted railroad spikes. You know what you will do. The moment you attempt to start both sounds at the same time, the ground will begin to shake, the room around you will begin to crackle and start coming apart. If you were to survive the collapse of the building, you will be haunted by a sound so shrill and grating that you should remain listening to it for even a small amount of time. You shall bleed from the ears until death. Even before that, you will feel strongly compelled to impale both of your eardrums with the railroad spikes. Your only hope is to, through the evil sounds piercing the air, nail the doll and tape recorder to the floor where you stand. Should you succeed, you will find a tape inside the broken tape recorder. It is unplayable and emanates a buzzing hum if you listen closely. That object is 105 of 538. When the time comes, all held within shall be revealed. In any city, in any country, go to any mental institution or halfway house you can get yourself to. When you reach the front desk, ask to visit someone who calls himself the holder of the blue. The worker will take a step back and rustle through a drawer. Should they take their eyes off you or you off them, run. They will alert the holder, and the fate of all those in the room will be sealed. Should they hand you an old notebook, take it, turn, and look for a chair. It will be blue and marked fresh paint. The seat is dry. Sit in it and open the book. Look carefully, and it will be filled with gibberish and pointless drivel. Look for writing on a page in an ink that matches the chair. This will tell you vital words, but they change each time this holder is called upon. Return the notebook to the clerk. They will wave you to a blue door with a paper sign on it. Lift that paper to reveal an arcane mark. Touch that mark with your hand and say the first vital word. Do not move your hand, even when ice covers it. Move your hand only when the door swings away. Blue halogen lights drown this hallway in light. There will be 5 doors ahead of you, 2 on each side and 1 at the end. Go to each of the doors, first on the left, then the right, then the end. Say the second vital word at each door. If you think about it, this word will tell you which door is the right one. Each door carries with it different trials. We who write have yet to test each door. Know this, regardless of what horrors await you, the third vital word will keep your mind from bleeding into madness. Meditate on it well. At the end, you will find a pedestal with a book and pen. It will detail your every step from the moment you realized the objects were real. Read through this book to the end. At the first blank space, take up the pen and write the 4th vital word. That word will vanish into a plume of smoke. The smoke will coalesce into an imp with a face made from faces of all those you hate. Ask the imp, what happens to those who fail to seek them? It will tell you every horrid detail, down to every splintered toenail and every burned out eye socket. As it speaks, it will dissipate into the air. When it finishes its tale, it will be gone. The pedestal will slide away, revealing a small mask with hair, almost as if it was to be fitted over a doll's face. Take this up, and if you so choose, take up the book as well. Jump into the hole the mask was kept in. You will fall into a shower room in the place you call home. This mask is Object 107 out of 538. The mask of the blue path. Its face always looks forward to when they are reunited. The book is the first object of We Who Write, the journal of the writer. Hold it tight, for you may yet join us. In any city, in any country, go to any mental institution or halfway house you can get yourself to. When you reach the front desk, ask to visit someone who calls himself the holder of the red. The worker will nod and pull out a rusty old notebook and hand it to you. She will then point out a door labeled No Entry. As you enter the door, take a look at the notebook. It will seem completely blank at first, but upon further inspection, a random page will have 4 numbers written in red ink. Memorize the numbers and continue down the hall. Eventually, you will reach a red wrought iron door. There will be a number lock in the center of the door with 4 spaces. The door is slightly warm to the touch. Enter the number you memorized. Enter the wrong number, and a violent end awaits you. Inside, several red lights hanging from the ceiling, casting everything in a semi-dark yet seeable shade of crimson. The walls are covered in children's toys, dolls, and model trains. Walk forward. Inside, a small boy will be crouching with his back to you. He will respond to only one question. Who can control them? You will be answered with giggles from the child. He will turn around and stab you with a needle attached to a strand of thread. Let him do so. Stopping him will only make the pain much worse and last an eternity. The sewing needle will pop out your back and he will pull on it, letting the thread become coated in a thick layer of your blood. Once done, he will begin to gracefully sew. Wait and do not speak. Do not move. Do nothing to draw attention to yourself. Before long, you will have a small blood-red doll in the shape of a human. The doll has no face or any other distinguishing features, but the craftsmanship is perfect. Protect it as though you were to protect your own life. Whatever happens to it also happens to you. The doll is Object 108 of 538. Do you control the objects, or do the objects control you?